I'm sure 1,000 people went to the audition, which had no speaking part, and literally some sketchy ass dude was like, "Let me see your butt."
Welcome back, everyone, to S1E1, the show where each week we pick a different sitcom, watch just the first televised episode, and forgetting anything we know about the future run of that show, rate it and decide if it's a show we want to greenlight or cancel. This week we're going to be talking about Where I Live. Where I Live went 21 episodes over 2 seasons on ABC. Today we're talking about episode 1, which was called Occupant, originally airing March 5th, 1993. So to get things started, I'm Jay Gags. With me as always, the boys, half of them, Berg and Joe. What's going on, guys? No Nick or Gordo this week.
Hey.
They got some big booty women in college.
What, draw a line down your head so it looks like a butt.
Yeah, it's so hard with Dougie Dog. Dougie Dog 2 also, I want to say, is a recurring character and in the pilot of Justified, one of my favorite shows of all time.
And Cosby.
Yeah, the 90s Cosby.
And he's an all-around nice guy that me and Jay got to meet.
Yeah, we did meet Dougie Doug. I forget that.
He does genuinely seem like the nicest guy ever.
Did you block it out because of all the rage from the picture?
Yeah, before I get into anything about this show, we should tell this story. So they had a Cool Runnings like reunion thing at like a Comic-Con we went to, and you get a photo with all 4 of them. So we did the professional photo, which they are not cheap. So usually we'll throw a few of us in the photo together and we'll split the cost. So there was like 6 of us. We get in, wait in line, do all the thing, already paid for it ahead of time. Right before they snap the photo, we're mid-pose, and the guy's like, oh, there can only be 4 of you. You have to pay for 2 photos if you want 6 people in the photo. And we're like, what? So we, in the moment, it was just like, yeah, take the photo. And we were like, we'll figure it out later. And then they flat out would not give us the photo. It was like $180-something, right? It was something crazy like that.
Yeah, it was a lot of money.
And like, it came down to the point where I was like, okay, so we're arguing with these people. There was no writing anywhere about like how many people could be in it in the whole booking process that I did. And I'm showing them, look, I booked it on this site. I clicked on this button and I go here, like, tell me where it tells me we can't have 6 people. Well, on our homepage, it's like, but I don't need to go to your homepage to book this. But yeah, long story short, they lose out on money. We lose out on a picture. Like nobody wins, right? But I'll say this, meeting the 4 of them, they were all lovely. They were so nice to all of us, and like we got like a minute to talk to them all. So they were all super cool. Maybe in the future we'll take another one, but that'll always be a thing.
We do have a picture of the picture because we got it before they snatched it and ran away.
We did our best, but yeah.
Did they print the photo out first?
Yeah, it was a printed one, yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, because I feel like when they do that, like when we go to like, visit Santa or whatever, right? They like print out a bunch and they were like, well, you can have all of these ones, or you can buy the other ones, we'll just throw these away. And your heart immediately is like, you can throw away the picture of my daughter with Santa. And I always end up fucking caving and buying the rest of the photos for no reason.
To jump back into this, though, Where I Live, Joe, this was your pick, and I find that curious.
Yeah, this isn't a long list of shows. I think this came up last time I was watching. I like did a rewatch of Justified and was like, I knew about this show because it was on TGIF. I don't remember watching it in the time, which I'm sure we saw it because we would have been religiously watching. Like, this is the era of Full House TGIF, so there's no way we weren't watching it every week, but it didn't click with me. But then also I was like, Gordo will love this episode because it's the
Flex.
creator and one of the stars of fucking Homeboys in Outer Space, one of the worst TV shows of all goddamn time. And then Gordo's ear exploded.
You know what? Not anymore. We've covered some really bad ones, which makes me second thought that show.
There are some shows we've covered that you thought were better or worse than Homeboys in Outer Space, and it still blows my mind.
I think when you look at shows like Homeboys in Outer Space, you have to understand like how hokey the premise is to begin with, and like there's a lot of like goofy jokes in there. Where some shows they're trying a lot harder and they're worse, you know, like so that comes into play. Yeah, I wanted Gordo to be able to do this episode with us because of that, but like scheduling stuff, we had to move some stuff around, and unfortunately, he cannot be here to enjoy Flex's other sitcom.
I figured you picked this show because it looks like it was filmed on Sesame Street.
It does.
It does look like it was filmed on Sesame Street. Literally, the set is, one tiny little basketball court, a corner of, like, the Sesame Street city with a stoop on it, and then the kitchen of an apartment building. It's pretty bare bones.
Well, I think it looks like Sesame Street too, because like it's an outdoor, it's supposed to be New York, and it's also clearly not actually outside, like in the real world. It's it's very obviously like a set. So it's going to have that same kind of vibe because of it.
If you think of, I think it would have been the same year too of Die Hard 3, a movie that like does such a great job of taking place in New York, right? Like being so gritty and feeling so real that when you go to New York, sometimes you see things and you're like, oh, that's from Die Hard. And then this at the same time just looks so fake. It's a very funny like juxtaposition for the same year.
And to go over a couple numbers real quick, IMDb 7.7, Rotten Tomatoes 83%, no audience score.
Jeez,
so not bad
high.
ratings. And then also, if you want to watch this show, YouTube. YouTube is the only place you're going to find any episodes of Where I Live. But I think like the whole thing's on YouTube, so not that bad. And one other thing I wanted to bring up before we got going too is this is a Michael Jacobs show too. So he's like one of those guys who's in like the upper epsilon of like sitcom royalty, right? When it comes to like creating shows and being involved in producing stuff.
Charles in Charge, My Two Dads, Boy Meets World, Girl Meets World. Can we cover that? Did we cover that?
We didn't do Girl Meets World yet.
No, we haven't done Girl.
I don't
Which we
watch
probably
any of
should
it.
because Sabrina Carpenter is like a superstar now. So you didn't mention dinosaurs, by the way.
Oh, dinosaurs, of
How
course.
dare you?
Well, the dude's in so many
Our
things.
second episode.
That was our second episode, yeah. Sherman Helmsley.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
But with all that in mind, I don't know if we have a lot to cover, but we have stuff to cover, so might as well get into the episode itself. Intro right off the rip, it's very 1993. It's mostly just kind of scenes from the show, and it's kind of like stylized, almost like stop animation with stills from, like they're just skipping frames. You're just seeing kind of
like
like
a 90s hip hop video.
Yeah, it's kind of comic book style too, where like it's frames in different colors and shifting. Yeah, it's
there's not much to it. It's fine. They're definitely just trying to set up an atmosphere. Like that's
like
a lot of the show.
It's like the jazzy soul music of that time. You know what I mean? It's very much that. Also, I thought it was very telling at this when I was like 51 seconds. That's a long intro. And then the intro goes into the episode and keeps going for a while before they start. At that point, you're at like a minute 10. And I was like, okay, that's very telling of a 23-minute episode where they're like, we're just going to like burn through.
Yeah, after that intro stops, it immediately goes into like 4 quick cuts of random stuff. And then he starts talking.
And the show also uses like establishing shots often every time there's like a scene change, which I thought was funny because it's usually the same set. So you're using establishing shots to establish something that's been established.
It's
This show
stoop
sort of-
again.
It sort of reminds me of the classic like joke about like a one-man show where it's like, and then there was the guy down the street. He was the ice cream man. He was silly. Hey, Billy, you want an ice cream? And they sort of like do all that. There's like one set. That's what this whole thing felt like to me. It was like a weird 90s one-man show about Harlem.
It was like they dusted off the 227 set and then they just like added some murals.
Yeah, because there's like also some graffiti font happening here too, right? In the title screen.
This show is supposed to be taking place in Harlem, but as we said earlier, it kind of has that Sesame Street vibe, but just with like some added textures.
Yeah. It actually takes place at a like Hollywood stage in like West Burbank, right? It's very not New York feeling. It feels like the street where they always walk down the same street in Seinfeld, and you're like, that's not New York. That's what this whole thing feels like.
You know how much more I would have liked this show if every once in a while like a Muppet walked by.
Yeah, it feels like that's going to happen.
Yeah. Like Gonzo puts his head out the window.
So we're seeing guys playing basketball outside, some old guys playing chess. We're seeing the murals on the wall. Like they're really trying to set the scene. I feel like they do it a lot with all these establishing shots from scene to scene where they really want you to get the vibe of this is Harlem.
Yeah, the neighborhood.
But again, it's weird because it's clearly not. They're bringing all the stuff that's, all the components, but they're putting it in a polished soundstage, and it just doesn't quite have that same vibe.
I mean, I mentioned Die Hard with a Vengeance earlier, but like this is like a classic era of like well done, kind of gritty, real New York. Like you've like so many. This time, you don't think so? Because you had like
I just mean on this show, not.
Oh no, on this show. That's what I'm saying. That's the issue. Is like you had like New Jack City, and you had God, what's the mob movie where the kid ended up killing the guy by went to jail?
Bronx Tale?
Bronx Tale. Thank you. you know, all these like sort of gritty, real New York film things, even NYPD Blue, right? And like Homicide, like all these shows that just felt like you were like in these cities that were like real. And like, then you watch this and you're like, this doesn't track at all.
This is a TGIF version of Harlem.
This is TGIF's version of Money Train. This is a very strange fucking thing to watch.
I love Money Train.
Money Train's so fucking good. Why is Money Train so good?
So we eventually land on the stoop of one of the buildings, and this is where we see Reggie, who we mentioned earlier, Flex Alexander, yes, from Homeboys in Outer Space.
Also, Michael Jackson in the made-for-TV Michael Jackson movie from the 2000s. If you remember that one.
The 7-hour one?
I think the really, really long one. Not the Jacksons one. That was the 7-hour one. That was one that was like the whole Jackson like arch from like Gary, Indiana, all the way up.
I don't think I ever saw the Michael Jackson solo one.
Again, there's a Michael Jackson movie coming out, Casper.
It's out now.
I really can't with you today, Casper, so we're not going to do this. I really would love to do a watch-along of the Michael Jackson movie with you guys. I think that would be the most fun thing ever.
It's out. Got real mixed reviews from people.
Of course it did, because it's about a person who had tremendous fame, but also fed children wine and looked at their buttholes. So hard to say he was a fucking hero.
I don't think you're... Hold on. I don't want to get too into the weeds.
Let me see your butthole.
I don't think your personal feelings on Michael Jackson, one way or the other, should dictate how good the movie is, though. Like, the mixed feelings
but the movie
is how the movie was made, not on the person.
No, but the movie is about the man.
Right, but you can make a really good movie about Charles Manson. It doesn't mean that you like him, that's why you like the movie.
I think Charles Manson inherently a better person than Michael Jackson.
That's an interesting... I don't want to dig into this too much.
I'm not touching this one.
Yeah, I'm going to blow right past that.
Better musician, too.
So, with Reggie on the stoop is Malcolm, who's kind of like the third guy in the group. We get a lot less of him than the other two. We'll see some Doug in a minute. But Malcolm and him they're just hanging out, and apparently Reggie recently went on a date, and Malcolm's just trying to like get all the details out of him. I mean, not uncommon, right? Like, if you had a buddy who's just on a date, you usually ask for some sort of details, right? Like, you don't necessarily need to know like all the gories sometime, but you ask. Reggie seems to be a bit of a like, I don't kiss and tell type of guy.
That's weird to me though, because again, he's not asking like what went down in a sexual way. He's like, how did the date go? Like everybody, if you went on a date last night and we were meeting up today, I'd be like, how was your date? Because we're friends. It's like a common question you would ask. It seems weird to be so defensive of it.
The vibe I got was, it wasn't that he's like, doesn't want to share. It's that he knows it bothers him, so he doesn't tell him. Like, he's just fucking with his boys.
Malcolm comes off as the kind of guy who does want to know those types of details, but he doesn't ask in that way. But yeah, Reggie's not giving him anything. And you know what I thought was weird too is when they're going back and forth and talking about it, Malcolm's giving him shit. He brings up that he spent $349 on steak and Lagostino, which, by the way, lobster, I looked it up because I'm like, what the fuck's Lagostino?
I've never heard that before.
I don't know why they kept like specifically saying Lagostino every time it would come up.
I took that the wrong way. I thought he was saying they paid $3.49 for steak. Like he was making a joke. Like he took her out to a cheap meal and got her like
at
a $3
first. That's
steak.
what I thought. I thought he meant $3.49. But then I'm like, steak. And once I looked up what Lagostino meant, I was like, well, if it was steak and lobster, it wasn't $3.49.
Well, it could be. If it was, it's a bad day. Well, maybe the date's good, but it's a bad morning.
The restaurant in Harlem. How good could it be?
I don't know. Harlem's probably got plenty of good restaurants.
I've been to Harlem, but
yeah, I've been to Harlem before.
But like passing, like I've never like spent the day in Harlem. You know what I mean? Like in the times I've been in New York, but I don't know if I like stopped and like had a meal or anything while I was there. So I couldn't. Everywhere has good restaurants. Well, yeah, that's not true.
Well,
like I would say New York. I would say all parts of New York, you'll probably find good restaurants like lurking around and here, but. There's a lot of places, no offense to some of our listeners in some of the less populated parts of the country, but you guys are hurting for some restaurants sometimes.
We get it good here.
I mean, if you live on or in any like very big populated place, you're going to have a much better chance of having good restaurants. I feel so bad sometimes you like drive through, like being on tour or something, you're driving through some tiny place and you're like, where's the restaurant? And they're like, oh, this restaurant, it's part of the gas station. It's near the hospital. That's the only thing in this town. And you're like, that's kind of a bummer. Like that's the one place to eat. It's like, well, there's Papa John's too, and you're like, that's also a bummer. This is not a great, this is not a great combo. But I can't eat anything, so I don't judge anybody at this point in my life.
Where's your gluten restaurant?
Again, I was just away for work for 2 days, and the two people I was with just kept being like, "You have to eat," and I was like, "I have Kind bars," and they're like, "You have to eat more than that." I was like, "I have Kind bars and I have alcohol. This is what I do when I'm away because I can't risk being sick on a plane. What a fucking nightmare that would be." It was very sweet that they were so caring about it, but I was like, "Listen, I can't just go risk eating someplace because they're like, we promise it's not going to touch anything."
The two are going back and forth. Eventually it turns into the two like kind of wrestling. As they're like playfully wrestling on the stoop, you get that camera cut, and that's when we see Doug for the first time. Doug played by Dougie Doug. And
just real quick, I want to say the wrestling started way too aggressive for the situation they were in.
Yeah, I took it serious.
Yeah, I thought they were like getting in a real fight over this.
It did. It looked like it wasn't as playful as it should have been, but when you have a good rapport with someone, it can get like that sometimes. But yeah, you have Doug who's now like talking to camera while we see the two wrestling in the back. He's like, "Oh, those are my best friends. They love each other." And you just hear in the background like, "I'm going to kill you, man."
Very sign of the times, the breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any shows that, like modern shows that do that now? I can't think of any top of my
Malcolm in the Middle is the most.
Yeah, Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle did do it, yeah.
But I feel like the way around that now is doing that whole talking head thing.
Yeah.
Because now they do that like, you had the Offices of the World.
That's
and
a good point,
the Modern Families and all these shows that are like supposed to be mockumentaries so supposed to be documentaries. But now you have all these shows that like sometimes they have talking heads in shows where it's never even established that there's a documentary being filmed.
Right? We've gone so far past like through the fucking looking glass on that now where it's just like, wait, is anybody filming Modern Family? Is this going to be shown somewhere? Like,
Yes.
Nope. They just sit on a couch and talk to you. Like, okay, why not? Disbelief, sure.
So I feel like that's the way around this, like the fourth wall breaks that we used to get, because it's like just kind of a different way that they tell the story. But he's pointing out the stoop they're wrestling on, that's the center of the universe. And he says, "I grew up on that stoop." He says, "I matured from the goofy looking little kid to this fine specimen you see standing before you today." It's like, what are you guys laughing at? Acknowledging that he's not, a model.
He's so good in this. He does a lot of face acting in this episode. And whether or not it's goofy, like I always smile in a way that you're like, "Oh, Dougie Doug," right? Like you're never mad about it. But like he mugs a lot in this episode.
Also, this is the only time I think I can remember seeing Dougie Doug without facial hair.
Does he in Cosby? I don't think he does in Cosby.
I don't remember. Well, the thing is too, like, even I don't think of it that way, because like even when like Cool Runnings and stuff, it's not like he has a full beard. He has like,
he's got the pencil mustache.
Yeah, he has like, it's so thin, so it doesn't take up so much of his face that you don't know what he looks like without. But he eventually walks over to the two and he's going to separate this wrestling thing that's going on. And when he finally pulls them apart, you have Malcolm like jump up into like the crane stance, which the audience fucking popped hard for.
I mean, this was, again, a very common joke of the time, too. Like, this is like a very Jim Carrey thing, right? To do like the crane stance.
Crane kick, yeah.
Crane kick, yeah. Like, I don't know why we, in a post-Karate Kid world for a few years, we were just like, people doing that one karate move is literally the entirety of Joe Piscopo's performance in Sidekicks is just doing that in terrible costumes.
For the longest time, that's all the karate most people knew was from that movie.
That's true, yeah. Or people would either do the very hack, like, talk over Japanese dubbing thing.
Oh, yeah, then moving the mouth around after.
The mouth thing was big. Or the...
How dare you!
Like, Wah! Like, big scream. Did you guys get a little wistful for the stoop talk? Because for us, like, I thought of this immediately. I was like, we didn't have a stoop, we had a parking lot, right? Like, we all met, and our whole lives sort of revolved around
Well,
this
he
parking
says, like,
lot.
that's, like, the universe. Yeah, like, you have that spot where so much of your life takes place in that one area growing up. And, yeah, so that, for us, the parking lot was kind of facilitated that same thing.
Like, growing up in a small town for us, if you wanted to find somebody in a pre-cell phone world, that was the first place you went, and you could gauge pretty well that at least one of your friends or two of your friends would be there, right? And you figure out the day from there. It's wild to think of that stuff now. Just with no connectivity, right? Just like, I don't know, it's a Saturday, it's 10 a.m. I'm going to go skateboard down to the parking lot. I'm sure I'll see somebody I want to hang out with.
And you did.
And you always did, yeah. And if you didn't, they were at the gas station or one of two restaurants or pizza places,
So when Doug separates them, Reggie's like, hey, do you think I have a problem getting any? He's like, you? No, you're the Mac. He's like, you hear that? I'm the Mac. I'm the real Mac daddy. You have Malcolm saying, what are you, stupid? I'm the Mac. I don't spend $3.49 on no dinner. I don't have to. So now they go at it again. This is why I think $3.49 means the high-end $3.49, because I don't think he'd be like, I'm not a sucker. I wouldn't spend $3.49 on dinner.
Well, with inflation, it is $10.
That's true. That's not even a meal at McDonald's now. You can't get like a meal for $10.
And we're assuming in this too, he's talking about, they're making reference to like the movie The Mac, right? Like the pimp blaxploitation movie.
Return of the Mac.
Yeah.
There it is. So,
and I mentioned Superfly later too, right? So I feel like they're clearly trying to play up that era of New York pimp movies. Just specifically, they just keep calling it the pimp ones.
So now Doug's saying to them, you're both the Mac. You're the macaroni and cheese, and you're the chicken Mac nugget. I didn't think that joke was that funny, but it was like so dumb that it was kind of funny.
I think the Mac nugget part kind of works.
I like both, so I think those are two compliments.
Macaroni and cheese is one of those things though where like you can have great mac and cheese or you can have really bad mac and cheese. There's not a lot of middle.
Yeah. I feel like bad mac and cheese is just bland. You know what I mean? So like the worst case scenario, it's still pasta. So it's like whatever.
You've never had dairy, vegan, gluten-free mac and cheese.
True.
I can tell you, that is where the line is
True.
drawn in that sand.
Disney has a lot of great food. Terrible mac and cheese.
Really?
You think they could pull that
flavor.
one off? Ugh.
If I remember, Popeyes didn't have the best mac and cheese either. I don't know if they've improved their mac
But
and cheese.
KFC, fantastic mac and cheese.
Yeah. So as these guys are talking, a girl walks by and like stops Malcolm dead in his tracks as he's talking. He's like, I say we let the woman decide. So he like runs up and starts talking, and he has this like much deeper voice than he naturally has when he starts talking, like, you know, baby, you know, like just standing over there antagonizing over what would be the perfect line to use on such an exquisite creature as yourself. And then she's like, well, Malcolm, like, and she knows who he is. So it's not like it's like a mystery what his real voice is. It's like, can't wait to hear what you come up with. And he goes, nothing, baby, because there are no words to express my lust. That's because you got a tiny brain to go along with that tiny little lust.
I thought this was a bit of a racy joke for TGIF.
I mean, like, it wasn't that bad other than just using
Saying the word
lust.
lust?
Well, I think saying he has a tiny little lust, I think, is obviously saying he has a tiny little dick, right? Like, that's the TGIF way of saying that.
Saying you have a tiny dick would be too racist for TGIF, so you got lust.
I just mean in general, saying you have a tiny dick seems racy for TGIF, even if you're couching it in...
There's always innuendos in shows, I feel like, since, like, the earlier days of television, too, so...
Do you think Joey ever said that to Mr. Woodchuck?
I don't know. What? So, girl is trying to, like, walk off, but now Reggie's taking his turn trying to woo her. And he just goes, steak, Lagostino, and conversation about nothing but you. She's like, and who would I be having this conversation with? Me. She's like, I'll think about it. So, it obviously goes way better than the situation with Malcolm with when Reggie makes his attempt. But again, the whole steak and Lagostino, like, why is there something I don't know about the times, or is there like something over there where Lagostino specifically is brought up? I know it's like a kind of lobster.
No, I've never heard that until this show. And
yeah,
when
like, why would you say steak and lobster?
I thought it was a restaurant.
But it's that's where
like,
it gets
we're
tricky
getting steak
sometimes.
at Lagostino's. You're like, ooh, Lagostino's. That sounds
Yeah,
fancy.
like maybe something was like
a lot of dark wood in there.
Maybe something was like trendy for a minute at that time, or like regionally, like Lagostino is popular. But every time they say it, I'm like, what a weird thing to be like. I'm gonna woo her with an offering of Lagostino.
Yeah,
I thought it was like a wine.
This is what let's call it to the fans. If you know what this means, like, let us know, please, because I'm sure we're just missing something. We were 8 when this came out, so maybe it just like culturally missed us or whatever. But
So now she's gonna walk off after kind of agreeing to go on the date with Reggie. Only now she stopped for the third time because Doug chases her down, and basically is just kind of doing the, hey, so if you're gonna go on a date with him, how about like the two of you and then me, and then you'll bring some of your friends, hoping that he could kind of wingman, but also, you know, benefit from it.
this is an odd move where all 3 of them shoot their shot. But I guess, you know.
Well, Doug isn't shooting his shot. He's trying to get a date with one of her hot friends.
That's true. But he's trying to get in with her first, which is an odd way to do it.
She flat out says, you know, it sounds like what you're doing is using your better looking friend as bait to get your sorry behind a date.
Well, yeah, again, to the studio audience, loves the rhyme.
This girl is quick with like strong reactions at all times. Like she hits all of them.
Yeah, she definitely puts like a lot of emotion on every line.
But when she said that he's sad and walks off, this is, you mentioned earlier, Doug's like facial expressions. He has like this like big stunned look on his face. He's kind of frozen as she walks off.
I will say I did get a genuine laugh here though, where she's like, the line you said, like, for your friend, she's like, yep. It's like, that's low, right? It's like, yep. It's like, you're low. It's like, yep. Like he just so owns it that I couldn't not laugh at that. It's like, that's so low. It's like, that's right. It's like, I don't know, it make me like him even more for just being like so unapologetic about it.
And then when he goes back to the guys, they're talking about how sad that was. And he's like, yeah, sad. It's kind of sad that a woman as fine as her sees right through me so easily. So admitting that anything she accused him of was absolutely true.
Nail on the head.
There's also, too, you find out, like, none of them have jobs, too. You're like, that's such a nice, quaint memory of, like, asking somebody on a date and being like, I have $7. Let's go on a date and figure something out. But, like, you did. You made it work. Like, I don't know. It's, as you get older.
You remember that scene in Half-Baked where he had, like, the budget and there was, like, the money counter as he was going along?
He steals the money from the homeless guy. Hot
Don't
dog.
mind if I do.
Jeff Pruitt is definitely listening right now. Hot dog. That was something we used to say all the time.
And now we cut inside of like one of the apartments in the building at which stoop they sit on. And that's where we see Doug's parents and his dad's looking out the window, like down at them. Every time, I'm not doing the accent. He has a strong Trinidadian.
Yeah, both of the parents have very strong Trinidadian accents.
He's saying, every time I look out the window, Douglas is standing around the stoop laughing with his friends. And she's like, punish him. He's like, I want to know when he's going to start thinking about his future. And she's defending him like, he's just a boy. He's like, he's 17 years old. That's boy retirement age. Which I thought was a great line.
Laughed out loud at that line. I thought that was so good.
I got to say, I think the dad's like my favorite character in this episode.
Mine as well, yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
It's one of those things, too, where, like, looking back on it, thinking about being 17, like, the boy retirement age, you're like, that's right, because, like, the last day you're 17 and the first day you turn 18 change nothing, really, but you're an adult, right? Like, that, like, little moment is very strange as, like, you grow older to be like, oh, I can get drafted to war now, right? But, like, nothing changes, really that much.
He's in a lot of good lines, too, because later she says, one day you're going to be really proud of him. He's like, which day? Is that day coming this week? Is that day coming next week? Am I going to be alive when that day comes?
Which is sad because R.I.P.
Oh, is he? I didn't look him up. Damn.
Yeah, you know what movie he's in, Ferg, that I think you'll know and enjoy? He's in the first Exterminator movie.
Oh, that's funny.
Another real gritty New York movie also.
Mm-hmm.
Not this.
So now the two are heading into like the kitchen area where their younger daughter is sitting at the table doing homework. The mother's saying like, why are you so worked up today? And he's like, well, I went to the cleaners to pick up my pants and I'm in a good mood. And then Mr. Coltrane gives me my pants and tells me about his son, Reginald, Reggie. And he received a basketball scholarship at St. John's University. And then the subject comes up about where my son's going to be attending college. And he goes, where? The University of the Stoop?
I would attend. Also, the mom, we just saw her recently. Do you remember where she was in, like, the last month or so, 2 months ago?
Bob Hart Avashola.
No, she is the woman who runs the orphanage in Sinbad show.
Oh, no shit. That's weird. I didn't notice that.
Also in Mantis.
Did
She's
she
in
have
a
an
ton of
accent
stuff.
in that too?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah. I believe she is from Trinidad as well, though. I don't think she has the accent in that episode, though.
What's interesting is like the Sinbad show and this one, I can't remember the exact year of the Sinbad show, but they came out really close.
Pretty
to time.
close, yeah.
And I feel like she seems
Well, she's only in
older
one
here.
episode of Sinbad, though. She's not like a recurring in that, so it's probably just like a day player thing.
No, but doesn't she feel a lot older in this show?
I think it's just the role. She's playing a mother in this, and the other one she's
Yeah.
like a single lady.
Yeah. She's also in a great Burt Reynolds movie from the late 80s called Breaking In, where she plays a sex worker. And it's one of those, like, there's like the lost years of Burt Reynolds where people like Heat, Breaking In is part of that. All these like weird 80s movies he did that are really good that just like weren't popular. That if anybody's looking for like a good 2-hour on the couch movie, Breaking In is like a very funny kind of crime movie with Burt Reynolds. It's really great.
You should have quit at Mantis.
You don't like Burt Reynolds?
No, I love Burt Reynolds. I have a picture with his grave.
Oh, I thought so. I was gonna say, what are we happening here? Is this 30-year bond breaking? What's happening?
They're all talking in the kitchen and Doug heads in And he's like, all right, Ma, I hope you got dinner on the table. I had a rough day at the stoop. He offers to his sister, he's like, hey, Sharon, do you want me to help you with your homework? She's like, shouldn't you be doing your own homework? And he goes, yo, Ma, that's real good how you threw your voice into this dummy. And she fucking whoops him.
She hits him very hard.
He had to have said before that really hit me.
Yeah,
she
don't
fucking
hold back.
clocked
Because
it.
I'm watching, I'm like, Jesus.
It's like, yo, no kayfabe on this one. Really fucking lay it in. Potato me.
And then it was like the conversation's like, yeah, Doug, like, where's your homework? It's like, oh, it's at school. I stayed after and finished it, and then I turned it in. And then he goes, why haven't you done it? Oh, why haven't I done it? Oh, because it's homework, and I just got home. So it was like, I feel like the excuses are like crossing. I don't know if I'm like understanding the scene wrong, but I felt like it was going in all different directions when they were asking.
He
about
lied, but the dad knows him so well, he saw right through his
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
That's where it went.
Yeah,
But
he
it
just
wasn't
pivoted. He
done
pivoted his
quite
lie,
well.
yeah.
Also, that was really nice of him to ask his sister if she needed help with her homework, and everyone was a dick to him.
That's true.
But I do like the idea that she's smarter than he is, so she doesn't need his help, right? Like, that's a very, like, sibling-y sort of thing.
And then, like, as all this stuff's going on, the dad's kind of like, hey, not today. Like, I'm not in the best mood. It's like, why? What's up? He's like, oh, your friend, Reginald Coltrane, is up. He didn't do it. I was with him all day, every day. What did he do? You received in the mail a scholarship for college. Didn't he tell you? It's like, yeah. He told me. He clearly didn't. You could see the reaction on Doug's face. Yeah, he told me. We talk all the time. You know, what makes you think he wouldn't tell his best friend in the world that he got a scholarship to, and then the father goes, St. John's University goes, get out of here.
I forgot to look up if St. John's University was a real school or not. I don't know if that's, I mean, like, are we assuming it's a basketball scholarship? Because they show him playing basketball later.
It said it was a
Very-
basketball
okay.
scholarship.
That he's pretty aggressively good at basketball, but I don't know enough about college sports to know if that's like a big school or not, or a real school.
I feel like statistically there has to be a St. John's University.
Right, there's like a St. Everybody. Although it's funny now, it's something I never expected to see, but with the like less and less people going to college, like some of these smaller colleges are just like dropping off the map after like hundreds of years. They're just like, well, we only got 20 people who applied this year. We can't afford to be a college anymore. It's interesting. I'm not judging at all. I didn't go to college. What was that?
I said, because it's a scam. I went to college. I have 2 degrees, and I'm a security guard.
Yeah, the only thing I can say about college is that I didn't go, but I have no debt from that. Right, I have other debt, but like I don't have college debt at least, so I don't know. Might come back to bite me later. You never know. It's a long life, right? So this circle could turn around at some point.
So Doug's trying to like, I don't know, like almost talk down the accomplishment that he just found out that his buddy got. He's like, oh, like it's no big deal. Like I get those things in the mail all the time. I'm getting like 3-4 scholarships a week. He's like, I'm just throwing them away. The dad walks up to him with like today's mail. He's like, well, Douglas, I have another chance for you to go through the mail. Let's see how many come for you today. And then Doug's like, oh, okay. He's like, you want to put this out? I bet right now MIT and Georgia Tech are currently bidding for my services. And Dad pulls up the mail. He's like, is this a scholarship for my genius son, Douglas? No, this is the last chance for me to resurface my swimming pool.
Which is the perfect thing to get when you live in an apartment. Like, that's the best example of junk mail to use on him. Also, MIT is like the worst college. I mean, like, it's such one of the most prestigious, hard to get to schools in the world. Like, maybe shoot a little lower on the, like, try to convince your dad that colleges are fighting for you.
And then he goes, is this from Columbia College? No, this is from Columbia Record Club. You can get 12 discs for free without buying anything. A golden opportunity for me, but no scholarship for you.
Is
He's
that
so
still a
good.
thing these
No.
days?
No,
No,
first off, I love that line. Second, that's definitely not a thing because no one's really buying CDs like that anymore.
Generationally, I mean, I guess now that physical media is definitely making a comeback. But still, I think that was a thing that was very specific to that time. Remember the things in every magazine that were like cardboard cut into them? What's funny now is that's like a big deal for like collecting records. Like a Clubhouse record like that is usually worth a lot more money because less versions of those were printed than the ones that were like distributed through like stores and stuff. So there are people who pay like way more for big records that were just because there's like a sticker that says like CRC on it.
I think we talked about this a long time ago, but I can't even remember if it was on an episode or just chatting. So did you guys ever do that, like, get all these CDs for $1, like, or a penny? Like, did you ever do it?
I never
No.
did, but I wish I did because you hear so many people who did it and never had to pay anything. They just like threw away the notices and like
Yeah, me. I'm that person because I was severely underage and they had no business letting a kid have a contract like that.
Yeah, it's insane. You can't have a 7 or 8-year-old be in a binding contract with a fucking major company. It's insane to think they didn't think people were going to take advantage of that.
Was that when you got locked into Girls Gone Wild's contract?
That was a whole different thing. That I was of age for.
I'm finally 18. Want to see my cold dead body?
But yeah, that CD thing was great because of it. Like I remember me and my brother both did it. And you had to like go, they had like the long catalog list of all the CDs they had available. I can't remember any of the CDs I got, but I don't know why, but I remember clear as day that my brother got the Eagle Eye Cherry CD.
Wow.
It's just such a weird like thing that's locked into my brain.
I'd like to think
Great
too,
single.
knowing how the record industry works, that like the bands made no money off of any of the albums that were bought for a penny through Columbia House. You know what I mean? Like that feels like that was a record label way to like fuck bands over super hard.
How did Columbia House make any money? Did it eventually they kept sending you stuff but charge you normal CD price?
Yeah. So the way it worked, if I remember correctly, is you bought like 10 CDs for $1, right? And then they sent you stuff through the mail every month. And then you had to return stuff you didn't want unopened. But people didn't return things because it's a hassle and a pain in the ass, or they'd open things or not pay attention. And then they would bill you, be like, hey, you didn't send those 10 CDs back. CDs back then cost $18.99, right? So 10 CDs is $200. And then people with money would pay it, and people who didn't have money wouldn't. And it probably just made out that they made more money in the end than lost it, you know?
I'm sure they made it very difficult to cancel.
If you think of too, like think of something like, random example, Mariah Carey's Christmas album, right? They probably pressed 10 billion CDs of that over the years, right? So like they made their money on that and then some so far before even counting into what happened to the Columbia House that like if they made some extra money on it, it was just gravy, you know?
Yeah.
So as the father's going through the mail, Doug's like, oh, I think this one's for me. Like it says Occupant. He's like, no, this can't be for you. He's like, why not? He's like, because you don't get no scholarship. You don't get to be no occupant.
And I feel so bad. That was the line where I couldn't figure out what he was saying, where his accent just got like a little thick for my ears, and I kept having to rewind it, and I had to put the subtitles on YouTube, and I was like, oh. And then after I did it, and I heard it, I was like, I hear this clear as day, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. The one line just fucking killed me.
After he says that, you get like the dramatic sax music, and like typically the scene would fade out. But what I like is they started to fade out the scene, but then Doug looks over at his sister and just tells her to shut up, and it like cuts it. And it was, I don't know why. It was just like, it was unexpected. It was weird. So it like caught my eye.
Yeah, it feels like there's so much of this that is so boilerplate sitcom, and then so much of it where they're like, let's try to be a little different to throw it off. But I think we'll talk about it at the end, but I don't know if one outweighed the other enough.
And then the next scene, we're just watching people play a game of basketball at the court. And Reggie like hits a shot, and as soon as he does, you see Doug running over like pissed off. He's like, all right, game over, you're out. He's like, no, right now is now. We have something to talk about now, and now is where now is. He's like, not now. So Doug grabs the ball from Reggie. He's like, you don't want to do that. And then as soon as he did it, like everybody in the game like kind of surrounds Doug.
This feels like that scene in The Super with Joe Pesci when he's playing basketball. It's like, because I killed a milkman. Like, it feels like that. Again, though, okay, if the Joe Pesci comedy film about him being a slumlord, The Super, that's a comedy, feels more gritty and real in New York than the sitcom. You know, like, that's a weird bar to be like, we're not leveling up to The Super, let alone the New Jack City basketball scenes.
I felt like there needed to be a scene between the apartment and now to show Doug get pissed off, because I didn't get that from him arguing with the dad, and then in the next scene when he gets to the court, he's fucking furious.
Well, when he first finds out, there was a little bit of that. You could see when he first found out about the scholarship.
He seemed more hurt that he didn't know about it.
Well, yeah, he was
angry.
surprised because he didn't tell him, but like that's how that stuff progresses too, like in your brain. So now that he's like processed it.
For all the breaking the fourth wall, I feel like a scene of him at the stoop talking to the camera would have worked here, yeah.
Yeah, like work through your feelings with us, so you know we can get you from B to C.
We're along on the journey, yeah. And also it'd have to be the stoop, because the stoop, the basketball court, and the kitchen are the three only sets they have. So,
and then it gets to that point where everyone's surrounding him with the ball. He's like, "All right, I see how this is." You're all looking at me like, "Oh, we can get the ball from the little man." He's like, "Will you ever hear of Spud Webb, Muggsy Bogues, me?" And the guy just takes the ball from me. He doesn't even he just boom, just takes it out of his hand. And then they all walk off, except for Reggie. They go to sidebar and he's like, what's going on with you? He's like, I'll tell you what's up with me. He's like, what? He's like, I've been carrying you around my whole life and I'm sick of it. You've been carrying me? He's like, yeah, I've been carrying you. You think all these girls have been falling all over you because you're so good looking? And Doug looks over to a group of girls that are right next to them basically. Yeah, he's all right, but he ain't really that good looking until he's standing next to me. So, to be that self-aware, to be like, you get more girls because I'm the ugly friend. It's such a bold understanding to have about yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate the honest, earnest look inside of himself that he's like, you hang out with me and I make you 2 points higher because I'm so ugly. Dougie Doug, not an ugly person.
No, he's not ugly.
Also, they shoot him in this scene, the scene before this, the basketball players being like, he's this tiny little man. He's 5'8", which is taller than me and taller than the 2 other people on this podcast who aren't here. Just oh, that bummed me out a little bit.
And now Reggie's like, why are you doing this to yourself? He's like, I'm not doing anything to myself. I'm doing something to you. He's like, what are you doing to me? Dumping you. He's like, you're dumping me? He's like, yeah, I don't want to be a friend anymore, okay? And then he goes to walk off. He's like, you heard about the scholarship, didn't you? And you'll be really happy to know my father's really proud of you. And then when he does the impression of his father.
This is so fucking funny. The impression is so good.
I can't, I want to be able to do it justice,
yeah,
but
you can't.
Do the impression, you coward.
It's not even the accent. It's not because he does his dad extreme, and it's not even the accent. It's the father's a really deep, bassy voice. So when he's doing it, he does it when you guys mimic my voice all the time, and you grumble up my voice a lot more than the good Lord already made it do naturally. So when he's talking as his dad, he's like, "Oh, why can't you be more like that, Reginald?" It's
yeah, he basically is doing Andre the Giant and Princess Bride as his dad's voice.
With a little bit of Cookie Monster in there.
Also, consider yourself lucky we do that voice for you. You could have got the voice we do for Gordo.
It's a lot higher, yeah. Sheba!
I'm not fucking going anywhere. So,
are there any other animals in the world who make fun of each other's voices like that? We're such a terrible species of fucking animal.
So Doug's like, you should have told me, man. Best friend's supposed to tell best friends what's going on. It's like, I didn't tell you because I didn't want to hurt you. He's like, what? You can't hurt me. Who do you think you are? You think you can't hurt me? You can't hurt me. He's like, you're a sucker. And college is for suckers. He's like, oh yeah, and you have everything worked out. And then he lays out, he's like, yeah, I do have everything worked out. And basically tells him my plan is, I'm not even finishing high school. He's like, I'm going to drop out. I'm going to get a job. And then I'm going to have the jump on you. So then when you get out of college and you're looking for a job, you're going to be looking at me already. And I'm going to say, oh, I'm sorry. I don't hire no suckers. So as if having a job is just this one job that you get and you just go to job after school. So in his theory, he's I'm going to start working now. And then when you graduate college and apply to work at the same place that I freshly dropped out, started working at, I'm no way.
Welcome to job.
Yeah.
Feels very dystopian, right? Where it's you get high school, you get job.
But I got to say, watching the scene, I thought Dougie Doug's performance here is pretty good. His series is pretty good here.
Yeah, I think he has some legit acting chops. The parents, obviously, I think are the most seasoned real actors in this whole show and carry it, right? As far as believability goes, but he has range.
And one thing though, I want to say, to be honest, and a big kind of negative I had on this episode was, so yes, this was a good scene. It's acted well. A lot of stuff with the parents is done well. But I feel there's not enough comedy balance in this first episode to really show you what the show can be. I think they went a little too serious for too much of the episode on a pilot.
I think too, classic pilot issue we see all the time is too much storyline. I know in the scheme of things, this is a simple storyline. I'm getting a scholarship, go to college, you're not, right? That doesn't sound like there's a lot to it. That's a long story arc of a whole season. So when you condense that into one episode, you're I don't know where the next episode's going to go. Or are they just going to have more compact, easy to digest, classic sitcom stuff? And I know this is, again, easy to digest and compact, but it just feels like this is a longer tale than for a pilot where you're okay, Like, you could just make them have a different conflict. The dad stuff makes it worth it, I guess, the relationship-wise. It just feels like there's 2 episodes in one here. I feel like this should have been spread across 2, episode 1 and 2.
Yeah, I just would have liked a little more joking around and funny in this episode. As this argument's kind of winding down, you have Reggie hit him with, forget you, man, and like walks off. And then Doug goes, forget me? Forget me? And then he turns like alone and goes, you already did. I would say most other shows is when you would have got the aww.
Yeah. Which is a staple of TGIF.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Full House.
I mean, like, I get maybe because like his circle is so small, but like when we had friends like up and moving to college, I didn't. There was no like resentment. Like,
it's a different time. I know it's relatively close, but back then everyone didn't have cell phones. You didn't. So your friends went off to college. You lost contact with them.
Yeah,
they
you saw them
new
next
friends
summer
in college, and
or
then you
Christmas
saw them when they
break,
came
yeah.
back. So it's like the world is moving and he's staying still.
And I was gonna say, like, it's only like from when we actually graduated, it was only like about 10 years from when this show came out. But what a difference in the world, even in that small period, with technology kind of taking like a big
Technology,
uptick.
social media, phone, everything. You can stay in contact with your friends like they never went anywhere.
Yeah,
but back then, once you lost your high school friends and everyone moved on, it's like you made new groups of friends and all that.
I think it's also like the folly of youth too, though, to think that like people are going to go off and make new friends and they're going to forget me. Whereas when you're older, you're just staring like you go somewhere, like people have their work friends and they have their friends they always had and their friends from school and like their social circle of maybe their spouse or partner, but like it doesn't make you go away. But when you're that age, that's what you think, right? Like, I'm going to be replaced. Whereas like when you're an adult, you're like, you've always had work friends, right? Like you've got your work buddies who you hang out with all day long and bullshit, but like you might not necessarily go out and get a drink with them or meet up with them on the weekends, right? It's just like different levels of friends, and you don't forget your buddies from back home. I mean, we're a prime example, right? We've been friends for over 30 years, right? We're still hanging out every week. And if you come to my work, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah. So next scene starts with a bunch of establishing shots again. So, I don't know. I know I keep saying it's funny to me because like where the set doesn't look authentic enough, it's kind of funny that they keep going out of their way to like set the scene by showing you everything going around in the set.
I almost want to see like a really fake subway car on a dolly track go by, like, just trying to make it like we're in New York.
It's just Trolley from Mr. Rogers.
It almost feels like in Wayne's World, I was like, I got a gun. Let's go to a Broadway show. It's like in front of the green screen. It's like the most fake New York of all time.
So eventually we end up back on the stoop and Doug and Malcolm are talking. Doug's like venting like, oh, Reggie's going to college. Like, who needs him? He didn't want to tell us about this little piece of good news. It's like, that's okay. I've only known him all my life. Why would he tell me anything? And then 2 girls walk by, and we only see them like from the waist down, like they're in jeans. And it's like, oh, we got some big booty women in college. I know you brought it up at the top of the episode, but how does he know they're going to college?
And also, there are big booty women everywhere.
They exist. That's
also,
not where the knowledge is.
I just love this cat because my brain immediately goes to like what the casting call was. We need 2 women with big booties who we won't show their face, but you'll get your big break on TV. In tight jeans, you'll walk down the street in a Dougie Doug sitcom. I'm sure 1,000 people went to the audition, which had no speaking part, and literally some sketchy ass dude was like, let me see your butt. That was the whole audition. Like, what a fucking terrible world. Yeah, we live in. Jesus Christ.
I always think of that.
Yes, Mr. Weinstein, I will show you my butt. Like, oh no.
I always think of that when it's like an obese character that has to be made fun of on shows. It's like, you put out an ad, we need fat people to get ridiculed.
And the names are always terrible too, where it's like, Fat Guy 2, Chongo. You're like, why can't you just call him Jerry?
Chongo!
You don't have to put his fucking, his stats have to be part of his name.
The conversation after, when they see the girls, I thought was kind of interesting. And by interesting, I mean weird. I hear women reach their sexual peak in college. No, I read they reached their sexual peak at 32. Times? You almost got my draws in a bunch. I thought that was like a weird little exchange.
I guess, though, if you're going to I understand the writing of it being like either people who are virgins or had only had sex a couple times being like thinking about numbers and being like, when you're 17, you're like, imagine having sex 32 times or whatever, you know, like I get that. I just don't think it translates well to like, I think they could have written that mentality better. Also, isn't it funny to be like, we're 8 years past where people hit their sexual peak?
Yeah.
Getting old so fucking funny.
Ah, cool. Yeah, thanks. I did not think of it from that perspective.
It's the first thing I thought of where I was like, oh, well, my sexual peak was 32 years ago. I don't know.
I think mine was 22 or whatever, not 32. So, but this is women, right? They were talking specifically about women's sexual peak.
Yeah, we're all great. We're all studs.
As they're having the conversation, this younger kid named Kwanzi heads over to them and it's like, "Yo, my brothers." It's like, "Where does you get a situation currently available on your stoop?" It's like, "No need to pull the vacancy sign. I'm here to take over the position." And then that's when you get the Kwanzi. Why do you always sound like you're in a Superfly movie?
I love Kwanzi.
I love Kwanzi too. I looked up this actor to see what he had done. It's one of those weird people where you're like, I want this dude at a convention. He's like 8 credits. He has 21 episodes of this. An episode of Renegade, which I mentioned earlier because it's like the funniest show to be a part of. And then he's like in a minute of Friday and then a minute of American History X. We're like, that dude's like, I want that dude's biography, like autobiography. Like, what a weird, crazy Hollywood career that is. Like, Kwanzi, if you're out there, let us know. I would love to do an interview with you. I think you have like
I bet we
the
can
most
get
fascinating
Kwanzi on the
career.
show.
Yeah, that's like the most, that to me, that is so much more interesting than talking to somebody who's been in like a million things. Like, you were in a few things and all of them were crazy interesting. There's a story to all of those.
You think Kwanzi will say yes and then tell us he has walking pneumonia?
Little inside baseball. The one person who we did reach out to.
We've talked about trying to do interviews and stuff, yeah, and then we finally reach out to people and the situation did not go as smooth as we hoped.
And it was just like every wrestling book ever, where like they wanted an amount of money for an interview and we agreed. And then even though they told us how much they needed money and we agreed to give it to them, they just kept saying they were too busy with their eBay sales or whatever and never fucking did it. That had walking pneumonia. Yeah. How dare you?
Go back and listen to our Salute Your Shorts episode. Anyways, so
I was just going to say, how dare you, Sponge?
Yeah.
Tired.
Kwanzi here to like, you know what? The stoop's low priority compared to your fly-looking sister. And then he just starts yelling up their window like, "Yo, hey, Sharon. And like, it was so mature for his age, like the way he did it, like, which made it so much funnier.
He's got like a Streetcar Named Desire level Marlon Brando yell in this scene. It's very funny.
"I love you, baby.
What do you want?"
I also love the idea too. Like, it's always funny, like a 12-year-old taking a shot at like a 16-year-old, right? Like, it's those weird times of life where like little bits of age mean so much. Whereas now, if that dude was 35 and she was 39, it would be like completely normal. But at that point, it's very funny.
She shuts the window and like walks off. It's like, "Oh, it's like you guys are married already." And he's saying, "You know, I'd really appreciate if you could hook me up with your little sister. I think we'd be doing each other a favor. You know what I'm saying?" It's like, "My little sister's 4 years older than you, little man." And then he like starts yelling up again, "Hey, Sharon, I want you and I will have you, baby."
He does that smile. He's got the whitest teeth. I'm like, good for you.
Good for you, good oral hygiene.
I need to go to the dentist. I haven't been to the dentist in so fucking long.
I've been since COVID. I was going pretty regularly.
I'm overdue for sure. I need a new dentist. This is probably the least interesting thing we can talk about on the episode, so we can hold that for later.
Well, again, not to keep talking about our age as it feels weird, but like I just keep feeling like more pressing medical things come up first. We're like, doctor said I need a backiotomy, so I gotta go take care of that first before I go to the dentist, you know?
You get a new backyard?
Yeah, he needs a new backyard for me.
You know, some jokes just don't hit. That was one of them.
So Malcolm's like laughing at Kwanzi, like as he's like yelling, trying to like profess his love for Sharon. And then he just like turns and Kwanzi like punches him in the gut and just like bolts off. I'd fucking kill that little kid.
Do we
just boot him off the stoop?
Yeah. And he wants to be on the stoop too. Do we assume that in the future, because like, you know, you have to take some artistic license in shows that don't go on very long. Do you think Kwanzi ever ends up with the sister? Do they get married?
If the show lasted like longer, maybe like
I don't
like,
think
you know,
so.
like
The age gap is too off because she's gonna hit puberty and grow out like 3 feet, and he'll be
that's true
2 feet smaller than her.
Yeah. I just like the idea of Dougie Doug giving the best man speech, being like, "You punch me in the stomach, Quancy." Like, I love the idea of that being an episode. The dad complaining about paying for the wedding.
I want the Hey Arnold crossover where they hang out with Stoop Kid.
Stoop Kid?
I was wondering this whole episode how long it was going to take for someone to bring up Stoop Kid.
I forced it. I was trying to figure out a way to get it in this entire episode. I'm like,
I don't think that was
it ain't
shoehorned too
happening.
much. I think that was as natural as it was going to be. I think well done.
So we cut to a little later. Now Doug's sitting on the couch of his living room, and he starts the scene by talking to camera. And he goes, "See, a son is a very special place in a father's heart, especially the only son. Because when you're the only son, the father knows that you're the contribution of him in this world. And your happiness is all that matters to him. Because when you're happy, it's like he's happy. But even though it's going to make me really happy to quit high school and move out on my own, I'm going to break this news to him very delicately, because there have been times that things that have made me happy have made him hit me."
This was my first legitimate laugh of the episode.
His kid, so he delivered
I
that
love-
last sentence like I can't do, but he did it so well. And then as soon as he finishes that little thing too, you have the dad walk in and he says, "Nobody talked to me. I had a bad day," which is like obviously the worst time to like talk to him.
This is a classic sitcom too, like dad coming home from work, having a shitty day, right? Like every sitcom dad has this moment in an episode.
See, they did this poorly because he came in mad and he knows he has some bad news to tell him. What you do is you have him come through the door and say that to the mother, and then Doug comes in and says, "I'm going to get out of school." And then oh no, bad move, Doug.
Yeah, he could have flipped the way he shot that.
Yeah, I think the mom running interference in this would have been a better way to do it. I think it's a good call.
So after he said, "No one talked to me, I had a bad day," you have Doug go, "Dad, who are you? I'm the continuation of you in this world." He's like, "Oh, lucky me."
That's
Dad,
good writing. That right there is very good writing for this show.
So he's like, Dad, I've been thinking, like, what's the one thing in this world you would want from me the most? It's like, well, when you were born, I held you in my arms and I thought what I wanted most for you is for you to make me proud. But it's probably too late for that.
That's very hard on him.
But he's so
pretty
quick.
brutal.
He has such a slower delivery, like just the way he talks, his cadence. But man, he has some quick zingers that offset his like slow natured talking.
This is a weird thing, but when I was looking this actor up, because I enjoyed him so much, I was like, what else has he done or whatever? And I found out he died. One of the weirdest things that's just popped in my head again on the Wikipedia, it was like, his remains were cremated. It's like, I didn't need to know that. Who puts that in the Wikipedia? Like, I don't know, man. Like, are you expecting people to go to his grave or whatever? Like, I always find it such a weird thing to be like, and they burn him up. He's good. It's like, why do I need to know that? That's such a weird fucking extra fact.
Maybe I was going to go to his grave, Joe, just like I went to Burt Reynolds' graves with Jay.
And you could find a grave is a very useful tool. You could look him up. If he was not there, you'd know he wasn't there. But
Does he at least have an eternal flame somewhere?
next to Elvis. How do you get an eternal flame? Can you pay for that?
Don't know.
I don't think anyone like picked their ex. You never know.
It's got to be like a natural gas scenario, I'm guessing, too, right? Is it propane?
Like my
This
dad
is
has
the
to
most
involve the
silly
Department of
conversation
Public
ever.
Works.
Yeah. I'm gonna call fucking the DPW tomorrow and be like, what if I wanted to bury myself in the backyard and have an eternal flame here, just to really up the property value when I die?
You put gas piping into my gravesite.
We kept trying to bury him, but everyone kept passing out.
Doug walks in and he's like doing like a fake laugh, and the dad's kind of like clocking that like what does he want here? He's like, from now on, I'm never gonna bring you home another bad report card again. And he goes, "Why? You're quitting school?" And he goes, "Well, no, yeah, but I'm getting a job, so it's more like I'm starting something new." And then the father's like, "Oh, I see. You're a funny boy, Douglas. I'm going to amaze you. I'm going to let you do what you say you want to do. So you're going to let me quit school? No, I'm going to let you get a job." And he's saying, at your age, like, you don't need any sleep anyways.
He handles this perfectly by being like, he diffuses the situation and reroutes it so well to be like, you are going to get a job and you're not going to quit school. This is very good dadding here.
He also throws him like a low-key insult by knowing. He says, "I'm never going to bring a bad report card." He goes, "Why are you going to quit school? Like, that's the only way you can not bring a bad report card home."
What's funny, too, is at the point now where we know, like, his friend has already been accepted to college, so there's also very few report cards left in Dougie Doug's future. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get them from college. Like, he's probably a senior in high school. And you get them, what, quarterly? So he's only committing to not bringing, at most, 3 bad report cards home. Doesn't seem like a lot in the scheme of ththings, you know?
It also kind of sucks because he tried this. Now he has to have a job and go to school. It's like we all worked from 14 on, but I remember getting a job and like, oh, I could have put this off a couple more years. It's like, there goes my freedom.
Yeah, I feel like, though, that's a feeling that leaves you quickly the first time you, like, have your own money to do things you wouldn't have been able to do. You know what I mean? The first time you're, like, out somewhere and you're like, I'm gonna buy that, when you would have just had, like, you know, way less money previously. It, like, sucks.
At the same time, there's those times where you would want to do something with that money, but you have to work, so you can't, and all your friends go, and it's awful.
That's true, too. But there's also the weird stuff, too, where, like, you wasted... Like, I think of money that got wasted as a kid, and, like, I'm not mad about it, but I'm like, I don't know. I saw 8-Legged Freaks 7 times because there was nothing to do, and people who hadn't seen it were
How
like,
dare you?
That
That is not wasted money.
7 times is wasted money on 8-Legged Freaks. But you're like, I guess these friends who haven't seen it want to go, and I guess I'll go again. We're like, I don't know, that $7 could have been spent on a different thing.
It was David Arquette fighting giant spiders.
Oh boy, do I remember.
They went, help me.
Another watch along we can do, 8-Legged Freaks.
So this is when Doug's mom heads into the room, and she's like, oh, hey, I didn't hear you come in. It's like, oh, why don't you ask your son what else you didn't hear? He goes, oh, I'm quitting school, Ma. You're what? You're not going to make a big deal out of this, are you? No, Doug, why should I make a big deal out of this when I have a perfectly large husband here who's going to kill you?
Great line. Like, the parents are the best part of this episode.
And then he's like, all right, Marie, like, I'll tell you what, you go in the other room, no matter what you hear, don't come in, no matter how much he screams, and you love the boy, you don't want to come in. Don't do it. It's like, all right, I'm going to go in the other room, and I'll put the vacuum cleaner on real loud. And she goes, nice knowing you. And, like, this scene really stable. Like, I love the dynamic of his parents.
Honestly, thank God for them. They saved the show.
They make, like, a great TV couple.
I want that spinoff, honestly. Like, that's where I feel like this show should go. Like, we need, like, the Ropers version of just the parents. Like, I want them to be like, Doug went to college, and we moved to...
We were trying to
Sheboygan.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida, yeah. They moved to... Oh, perfect. They moved to Miami, and they live in the hotel that the Golden Girls run in Golden Palace. And we get, like, the greatest sitcom of all time.
So now that Doug's alone with his dad's telling him, you know, back on the island, my daddy would tell me a story about the lion and the hyena. Basically, like, the gist, because the story takes quite a minute for him to go through it. The hyena was like a loud, smart-mouthed, laughing fool, and the lion, you know, is the king of all. And they were mortal enemies throughout all eternity. And then one day the hyena goes up to the lion and says, yo, lion, what's up? Doug's like, hey, Dad, what's the name of the hyena? In the forest language, the hyena's name was Iguasi Landama. In English, that translates to Doug. He's like, oh, what a coincidence. My name's Doug.
I love his line reading of that.
He's talking about how, the hyena went up to the lion because he decided he wanted to be king too. But he didn't realize there's only room for one king. He would try to smart mouth the lion and bamboozle him and sweet talk him, but he still can't be king. He's like, and do you know why? And Doug's like, because it's your story? No, because you don't have what it takes up here. And the lion knows that without an education, the hyena is going to get eaten up in the jungle. Now, here's the good news for you. This ain't a story about a lion and a hyena. This is a story about a father and a son. And the father, he only wants one thing. He wants his son to be king one day. He knows what it will take. So you're going to get a job and you're going to go to school because you're young and you don't need sleep whatsoever. And the king, he's going to have his dinner, which lucky for you isn't you. And then he walks to the kitchen to catch up with the wife. I did the story no justice, obviously. And when he says it with his heavy accent, it sounds much more interesting.
Yeah, a monologue is best delivered by, like, a real actor, and this is really well done. Again, lending to the thing we've been saying the whole episode, like, the parents are just the shining stars of this, right? Like, they just actually drive the whole thing along. I can't imagine this show with bad actors as parents. You know what I mean? Like, or, like, less actors. Yeah, totally unwatchable, right? If you just cut to just like
they grounded this whole episode in a way, not that like not even to throw shade on Doug and his friends, but it was just like, I don't know. And I think because of the story that they're telling in this episode, they're not letting the dynamic of the three buddies be fun enough to like relate to them like as kids. Other than like, I mean, there's a serious part, but like, it doesn't like, you don't feel like, I don't know, you're not getting the fun you want out of it between them. It's like you get like the drama and the bickering part of friendship, but you're not getting enough of the fun side.
In the TGIF shows, there's a lot of crossovers. I keep thinking of like what the best way, because like that was a big way to get another show over too, right? Like anything else, like wrestling, right? If you had these characters interact with other shows,
Cody just pulled up in his van.
I thought Cody immediately like, oh, welcome to the cheese stay. Like I want to see this show interact. I want to see the parents on the roller coaster at the beginning.
Never noticed two black guys on the roller coaster behind them.
They zoom in. Yeah, you're like, oh, look.
So he walks into the kitchen and he's talking to the wife now. And she's like, so? He's like, well, the boy's going to go to school and get a job. I solved everything. Feed me. It's like, I have one question. No question. This isn't question time. This is dinner time. Dinner on the table for the king. He's like really proud of himself after that, the dialogue he gave his son. And she goes, why do you think Doug wanted to quit school? He goes, let's face it, Marie, school was never that boy's strong suit. And you certainly did your part to let him know that, didn't you? So what do you mean by that? She's like, well, it just means that you made a big fuss over Reggie getting that scholarship. Do you think that maybe Doug feels like he can't compete with Reggie in his own father's eyes, and that's why he wants to quit school? And I'll say this too, like, I really do love the dynamic of the parents, because when Doug was around, she's got his back 100%. She's not going to question anything he says in front of the kid, but she's also not afraid to speak up to him, but she just knows better to not do it like in that setting. You know what I mean? When Doug's there, they have to be a team because it holds more weight. But when it comes down to like Doug's not around, now she's going to be like, okay, here's how I really feel about the situation, and I think you should treat this accordingly.
It almost gives me vibes of from Coming to America when the Queen puts James Earl Jones in his place.
Yeah, when they're at the McDowell's house.
Yeah.
They are beneath us. I didn't think I could do a James Earl Jones impression this episode. I'm really happy it was there. I was had sex with your bathers. I know I do. It's the greatest line of the whole movie.
Queens!
Queens! Yes, fuck you too! Coming to America, another great, gritty New York movie. We just keep pulling out other movies or TV shows you're like, they made New York look real. My buns have no seeds.
So, next scene, we start off with more establishing shots. We eventually see, it's like nighttime, but like outside where they've been hanging out, like near the stoop and stuff. And you see Reggie kissing a girl. And Doug notices, and then Reggie heads over to the stoop. Doug's like, what do you want? To come and collect your things and move to another stoop or what? He's like, no, this is still my stoop too. All right then. He's like, well, don't talk to me. He's like, fine, I won't. And like, they take like opposite sides of the stoop.
Do they all live in the same building?
I don't know. We know Doug's there for sure.
Yeah.
It feels to me like
he's
Doug
like, this
lives
is my
there.
stoop too.
Yeah, they hang out at the stoop, but they don't all live there. Because I feel like they come and go, and Doug stays. Like,
it's possible that like Reggie also has an apartment in the same building, but we don't know that.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
And it's funny because I brought up 227 earlier, but like it could be very much like that.
Yeah.
But then you have like Jack Hay, who doesn't live there, who just like walks over and stuff.
But like is the focal point of the whole show is always over there, yeah. There is nobody in this show like 227 though who's constantly just out a window. Which as we get older, I'm just like, that woman's back must hurt so much from being constantly slung out a window.
Meteor Man's another good one.
Oh man, Meteor Man. Another Cosby too. Cosby pops into that, right? I know it's Townsend is Meteor Man, but Cosby's in there, right?
Yeah, he talks to his dogs because he has the meteor powers too. Actually, I'm not positive.
I guarantee you we're the only podcast of people right now talking about Meteor Man.
I love Meteor Man.
Surprisingly enough, I bet we're not.
One thing you learn over the years is a lot of people love Meteor Man.
Yeah,
and
but we are probably the only podcast who mentions Mantis that often.
Definitely.
We're the Mantis podcast. That's Patreon right there. We go through every Mantis episode.
So while the two are on the stoop, Reggie, starts with like, the I don't want to talk to you type of thing, but he clearly does want to talk to him. He's saying, hey, don't think the reason we're not friends anymore has anything to do with your little college adventure, because there's nothing as petty as that. He's like, oh, all right, well, what's it as petty as? Well, it seems as if I got a little domestic situation because of you. All of a sudden, because you have plans for your future, I have to start thinking about my future too. It's like, well, maybe that's good. He's like, well, maybe it isn't. maybe I liked it better when my future was in the future. Then you had to go and wake my father up, and I have nothing but misery for the rest of my life. I'm going to say I like the idea of I liked it better when my future was in my future. I feel like that really resonated with me a lot.
No, that's a really solid line that should have ended that scene, right? Because everyone can relate to that.
It's one of those, like, it made
couldn't
me
end
reflect.
the scene because they have to make up. There's only a little time left.
No, but like maybe a pause though. Like I don't think the second line works for that, right? Like I think you need to breathe there for a second to be like
Maybe switch dialogue on that line,
Yeah.
so that line holds a little bit more.
But again, too, I think that line resonates only with people older than them, right? Like it's not going to resonate with anybody younger than them or their age, because like you just think that you're like invincible at 17, you know?
It's not even just the invincible part, but like what really hit me was it's that part of life where you always think there's more time.
Yeah.
I'll do this later. I'll focus on saving money later. I'll focus on my health later. I'm going to focus on a family later. And then time flashes forward and you're 40, we've all dealt with that to a degree,
I mean, I say it all the time, time is a son of a bitch, right? Like you just wake up one day and you're like, oh shit, this has gone by, or this was that long ago. It's a weird thing, and it's only going to get like we're middle-aged. So if we're lucky, we're at the middle of it. At this point, if we're like, I'd be happy to make it to 80, that'd be great.
It's like the Andy Bernard line. I wish there was a way to like know when you're in the good old days.
Yeah.
In your past. I forget the line. I can't do it justice, but
that
it's like
line
one of my
breaks
favorite
heart
lines from The
every
Office.
time. I get super hard feels on that every single time, yeah. Well, Creed is fucking playing the saddest song on the acoustic guitar at the same time. You're like, Jesus, guys.
That line, the good old days line hits me every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Doug's dad opens up the front door right around this point of the conversation and like joins the two boys on the stoop. And he goes, oh, hey, Reginald, heard about your scholarship. Man, I'm proud of you. He's like, oh, thanks, Mr. St. Martin. Almost as proud of you as I am my own son. And you could see it like that caught Doug's ear, and he like kind of like perked up a little bit and looked over, which is like a sweet little, like, it worked. Cause like Doug needed to hear that. Like he did, as much as he's, kind of strong-willed and combative. Like you could tell like he really needed to hear his dad say that he was proud of him.
And it's nice that the mother set the dad straight. But after that, I would have had the dad in that window, because they established that window was right over the stoop, and hearing their conversation. So he realizes his actions have hurt his son.
Yeah.
Makes him go out there. Something like that.
That's when you get another, aww.
Yeah.
Then he grabs Mr. Bear, and he walks down there. Mr. Bear gives him some counsel, tips his hat.
So what does happen, Doug's father hands him like some mail, and he looks down at it and he smiles and shows Reggie like who it's addressed to. He goes, Occupant. Which
I laughed pretty hard at that.
It was good because
it's
I
sweet
thought
and funny. Yeah.
it was funny, but like, because at first you think like, oh my God, he got accepted to a college, and then it's not that. It's just that his father is saying like, you can stay here as long as you need to, essentially.
Can you imagine not being happy for one of your friends for getting a sports scholarship?
I know. I think it's because all of us were just so not athletic. We can't. We think of it, we're like, imagine if one of us was so good at volleyball, they got a scholarship.
If coach put me in, man, we would have won state.
Right. The people drinking behind the stands usually have that different view on it.
If only they had a scholarship for lighting fires in a parking lot.
Yeah. For skateboarding poorly. Where's that scholarship?
I can light my hand on fire better than anyone else.
I mean, we all ran after we lit fires. I mean, that's technically athletic.
So the father walks off. The two are talking a little bit, and Doug finally says to Reggie, hey, Reg, I'm proud of you too, man. And then the two hug. And right as they're like kind of doing the hug thing, Malcolm walks by and sees them. It's like, oh, well, what's this? You two girls kissing make up? It's like, what's the matter? You jealous? And Doug's like, the only girl that Reggie was kissing was Deontay or whatever, which is the girl that was there earlier in the day, or the day before or whatever. And then
I think it's Dante is a girl.
And then you have Malcolm once again reverting right back to like, come on, man, you're not going to tell me about your date? It's like, no, you know what happens on a date stays on your date. Get your own date.
Yeah, I love the full circle moment. The first line is the last line.
I do like that. I wonder if they do that every episode or not.
Yeah, I don't know, because that did conclude the episode. So it was like,
we get a title card too, which is odd.
And then a bunch of outro clips. They're really trying to extend that time. But it clocked over 20, like they clocked in like a minute and changed more than what standard TV shows are now. So I don't know why they did all this like filler establishing shot.
Yeah, I will.
If they didn't, it would have been 14 minutes long.
Yeah, between the opening, the closing, those shots, all the establishing shots they do, we mentioned, right, where they like just do like tracking in different parts of the neighborhood. Yeah, it's probably a much shorter episode, which is weird to me too, thinking about it, because TGIF would have been prime commercial selling time, right? Even on a new show, you're like, we've got people who are going to be watching by the millions TGIF every Friday night. So like, even if you're a new show, like make it 18 minutes. Fuck it. We'll sell more ads and make more money for the network. So it's surprising that they like padded this episode out as much as they did. And the editor wasn't like, we could remove a minute of this and sell more fucking Encore family meal commercials. You know what I mean? Like that would have been probably more beneficial to the network. Try the steak.
So, I mean, there's really not a lot of other info on the show to really kind of go over. And we've talked about this episode at pretty good length. I will say, like, there's a thing too, like the show had like its break. The second season was a little less guaranteed. And that was like a mixture of a few things. I know Bill Cosby was like a big proponent to get the show back on.
I think he came on as an advisor.
Yeah,
but
he eventually had some ties to the show.
Another show too, though, where like there are unaired episodes, because I think only 3 or 4 of the second season even made it to air. I don't know if those made it through to the 2009 syndication run, because that's what we're watching now. Like that's why this exists for us to even see on YouTube, is because there was like a random mid 2000s one season watch of it on some network. I forget what it is, but I don't know if that played through the unaired ones or if there are just like a bunch in the vault that we've never seen.
So with that in mind, might as well get into the green light or cancel. I'll go just clockwise. Joe, you can start.
I think Dougie Doug is great in this, and no one is bad in this, but obviously the parents are the star of this. It makes me think of, and they're obviously related, but like All in the Family and the Jeffersons, right? When they spun off Mike and Gloria, the show, that was a failure, right? And like Lionel on the Jeffersons was always a character who popped in and like had a story arc, but ultimately it was about the parents who were the stars of the show. I get building this around Dougie Doug, who I think is amazing and I do genuinely love, but I think this show would have worked better if it was about the parents and then the storylines were Dougie Doug and his friends as a secondary sort of thing, and then maybe you spun them off onto their own show. I think that would have ultimately given this a more successful, longer run. I think the padding is very apparent, right? There's a lot of fluff here just to make the show longer, which is usually a sign that you're just kind of pushing through to push through. I'd love to see some of the second season to see like what the Bill Cosby aspect of everything is and changed, right? Like, was more money thrown at it? Does it look a little different? I mean, we talked about the sets a lot. The sets are pretty bad in this, but I don't hate this, but it's not a green light because I just think it's flip-flopped and it should be the parents first and Doug and his friends second. So weirdly, a cancel, and maybe we can someday see the rest of it and see how it goes. Ferg, on to you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, actually. It's a cancel for me. I didn't hate the show. There wasn't enough to it to make me want to see any more of it. I loved the parents, but I thought the majority of the show was just generic. It was generic name, generic theme song. Wasn't that funny? Like I said, the parents saved the show. They're the only things that made it watchable. It's nothing against Dougie Doug. I love his movies and other shows, but this just didn't do it for me. I also think there wasn't that many characters, and they had plenty of time, and I don't think they really established any of the characters. Like, other than the bare minimum, like, oh, he's the handsome friend that's good at basketball. Like
the goofy friend who plays Michael Jackson just disappears for the whole episode, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And the show is like such a big part about their friendship, and all 3 kids are barely in the episode. Like, it's a lot of individual stuff with Dougie Doug. So unfortunately, I am going to cancel this one, but it's not a hard cancel. It's just didn't do it for me.
So for me, I'm going the other way. It's because I see like what the show can be. So like I'm giving it a green light. I liked the dynamic of all the guys. I love the parents. I don't love that they took on like a serious topic episode 1 and dealing with all that. Like you're getting a lot, like it helps the parents shine, which I guess typically in an episode of the show you wouldn't get as much of. it was a little slow for me, and I was, it was dragging on a bit, but ultimately I thought like it was fun. I see the potential, and I'm interested enough to like keep going with it. So I'm giving it a green light, but I can totally understand, for pacing and all these reasons why maybe not an easy green light or cancel. So with that being said, that's only 1 out of 2. But that doesn't leave a final score because if Gordo and Nick both decide to greenlight, then it goes one way. So we're leaving you with no solid answer on this one, so we apologize. But with that being said, possibly. So with that being said, I want to thank all of you guys for listening. Again, S1E1pod.com, so we can find all the links to all of our social medias. If you want to rate, review, subscribe to wherever you listen to us, that does us a ton as well. Hit us up. We like chatting with you guys. Let us know shows you want us to cover in the future. And that's about it. So instead of taking more of your time, I just want to say thank you, and we'll catch you next week with another new episode. So thank you. Goodbye.
I think we got the best Dougie Doug and Dr. Giggles, which I can't believe we forgot to mention.
I haven't seen that movie since we were in middle school.